All right, so this next one is 6543 Owens that you had on a sheet, and you had 700, and this is another one that I'm trying to figure out where you would even get to 700 because it's nowhere within proximity of the property besides these three, which are I had to really expand out and go across the street here to find them, but we've got a 750 over here and we got a 710 clear over here. And I wouldn't be inclined to use either one of these. Maybe that one, but um, not really. Let me see here. This other one's on a huge lot and it's like a mansion. So I wouldn't want to be using that one either. So then we got this one. It's on a pretty big lot and really nice, kind of a huge house, 3,700 square foot. These other ones were really big too. So I took out square footage and everything, just trying to figure out where you're getting to 700. And this is another one of these that I've run across. I'm just wondering if somehow our spreadsheet's getting mixed up somehow because it does. This has been inconsistent with the way that you've been doing, the work that you've been doing. So, anyways, let's jump into this, and I'll just take a closer look at it and see what I come up with. All right, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one because it's pretty clear where the ARV should be. So these guys want 550 for this house that is really in bad shape. Well, I shouldn't say bad shape. It's just run down, outdated, old everything. They are so overpriced on this one. It's insane. So I'm gonna lean on mostly these two comps here because they're the closest and they're fixed up. So this uh, this 545, it's a sold, and I'll show you my criteria in a minute. But this one's been completely fixed up. This is a brand new rehab. No, it is a ranch. I get that. The square footage is a little less. They're 25. We are at 26. Um, Let me just double check. We a ranch or we're a two-story? But still, I would lean on that one pretty hard. There's this 575 over here. That's a two-story, and this is the pending. So this is under contract. So we don't know it's under contract for 575. It could be 560, but we can assume that somewhere around that range. And that's pretty nice in there. So I would be, instead of 700, I would be somewhere around, five, 570 probably is where I'd be. So this is where they're probably going to end up selling. I'm going to hit these guys with 565 actually, just because they're so overpriced. So, anyways, I'm not sure where the disconnect was there, where 700 came from. Here's my criteria: active, pending, close, 360, single family. I took out all square footage just to find something close by because when I put in a square footage range, I was struggling to find anything that would work. So, but these are actually pretty close and square foot. This one was, this one's a little bigger, and this one's a little smaller. And I bet if I looked at these, I'd probably come up with something very similar. So that's 545, 26. That's a very similar house. This is actually a pretty decent comp too. It's almost we might actually want to be 550 on ours because that's almost the exact same house. So, anyways, and this one's a fresh remodel. So that's a brand new fresh remodel. That's the comp we actually want to use. So 545. Uh, so yeah, these guys are just so overpriced. So I'm not sure. Oops. All right. So that's. I'm gonna. Well, I don't know what did I do there. So I'll have to fix that. Hang on a second. All right. So the last one I'm gonna look at is this Lee Street. We were pretty close on well, you're over their price. Um, I think I know what's going on here. So yeah, we have another disconnect here of where our ARV needs to be. So here's my criteria, and I went out 360 single family. I took out the square footage because I'm really zeroing. In some of these neighborhoods, you really got to zero in. Um, the closer to the comp, the better, right? So um, well, let's just jump into this. So I guess you could go out a little bit more if you wanted, but let me see how that affects it. So I think this is a great example of your different neighborhoods. So when you go in here and you see the results, I'm clicking on our subject property, the one that we're comping, and then I'm clicking all these high price houses. And then when I take a look at the map, I notice all these high price houses are above 20th Street, right? They're all up here. And nothing is down here besides this 580. That is telling me that the values down here are probably different than these values up here. And you'll see that in Denver all the time. So I really want to pay attention to this little neighborhood here, or maybe even take it over here and see if there's something over here across Kipling. But sometimes these neighborhoods get kind of funky. So let's take a look at this is when I really kind of dive into this little area a little bit more. So let's look at this real fast. So you got this 455 right here. So here, let's pull up our house. They want 440 for this house. It's a one-car garage. It's 2,300 square foot, and it's pretty dated in there, you know. So back to our map. We've got this 475, and it's a one-car garage, brick house, and it's more updated. These cabinets are older, but it's a little more updated at 480 at 1,600 square foot. And then we go up 455. This is almost the same square footage, same type of house, except we don't have a garage on this house, I don't believe. Oh, they got 2-car in the back. So, and this one's really pretty nice inside. I mean, it's not a fresh remodel, but it's a newer remodel for sure. That's those farmer sinks, and they don't have can lights. It's not, like I said, it's not a fresh remodel, but it's pretty darn nice in there. They got some pretty cool stuff going on. Newer windows, wood floors, nice bathroom. So, we can pretty much tell, and that's the same size square foot house, that we're not in the 600s because this neighborhood's different, right? And so, I mean, if you see something like this, you see all your high price comps way off somewhere else. Like you click on all your high price comps, or click all over here, and down here you don't have any of those high price comps. You need to really pay attention to what's going on in this specific neighborhood. And so this 455 gives us a much better gauge of where we need to be. So I would say like a fresh remodel, we might be at like 465, 470, but we're definitely not in the 600. So I want you to pay attention to that. And that gets us down to, price that is pretty far out there, less price. So anyways, hopefully that helps. Yeah, today we weren't exactly on the same page. You did have a lot tougher comps today than you did the other day. Some neighborhoods are just easy, especially when you have your comps right within a few blocks of one another. That makes it super easy. But when you're pulling from comps farther and farther away, you got to be careful with what type of neighborhood. You want to see some conformity in there. Now, if I looked at these and these were all junky houses, that was a junky house, that was a junky house, these were all kind of the same kind of level of quality of houses, this one, then maybe I'd be looking at these a little bit more. But these are pretty nice. These two weren't too bad. So you have to ask yourself the question: if you're a buyer, would you buy this house for 600 and whatever it was you had, 607,000, when you could have bought this house for 450 or this house for 475? And what's different about this neighborhood up here, and why are all these more expensive up here? And we could get into that, this 2-car garage, and so on. It's just a different neighborhood, and people are paying more to be up in that neighborhood for some reason. It could be a different school district. There's a lot of reasons for it. So you need to really pay attention to this specific neighborhood. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, tomorrow I'm hoping we can get on the same page as far as having you just start pulling properties daily, and I'll give you instructions on that, and um, we'll just kind of get into a rhythm here because we kind of got thrown off by trying to work on this folder list. So, all right, I'll send this over.